Good day, sir. I'm Nico Masige, and I'll be demonstrating my web application to you, sir. So this is TechMove Global Logistics Management Systems, right? It's an enterprise-grade web application built to obviously digitize and automate the operations of the actual logistics and freight company. It will serve as a secure, centralized portal where logistics administration and administrative and the corporate clients can actually log in to manage, track, and validate the movement of their goods, right? So with this said, the entire system is just designed around a strict hierarchy, essentially making sure that operational work is done without formal, legally binding agreements, right? With that being said, um, essentially I have created two separate dashboards and I will now be explaining the reason behind it, right? So everything will obviously begin with onboarding a client. So now in order to onboard a client, either you can register yourself as a client. So we're just going to go ahead and just say, um, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, email, JC, email, right? This is the email. So we're going to set the password for our client and be able to register as a client or administrator. So we're going to go ahead and just register as a client for now. Company name, we'll just call it Heavenly Flights, right? That's the company name, which is also very important region. We'll just say North Africa. Just select contact number. We'll just say 081121212. Go. Now we've successfully. There we go. Perfect. Successfully. Let's just say successfully registered as a client, right? So now from the client dashboard, what happens is that now you're able to view your dashboard. From the dashboard, you're able to see your live contracts, your live service requests, right? And with that being said, we just registered this person should have nothing on this. We're just checking right now. They shouldn't have anything. They shouldn't have anything. Perfect. This is great, right? So now what's going to happen is that in order to quickly hop onto the dashboard side, sir, we will be speaking more in depth on everything. So essentially, the administrator, I have currently already created a admin, so I just quickly logged in as the admin. So essentially now what happens is that as the administrators use the system to register clients, right, profiles, so such as like retail chains or manufacturers, anyone who is a client and needs things shipped, essentially. The clients will get their own secure login to view their dedicated dashboard, which is where we come from right now. But currently, we're on the administration dashboard. And this basically will create transparency, between ourselves and the clients, right? So this is now from the administration side. We have our admin dashboard. And with that being said, we're able to view our total clients, total contracts, total requests. And from there, we'll now be heading over to our clients, right? So we're able to view our current existing clients. This is all pulled in from our database. And with that being said, we can see that, hey, there's a company called Heavenly Flight, and this is their contact details, the region they're in. We're even able to view their actual client profile. So this is their contact details. We're able to navigate back. We're able to edit some of their stuff as well, should they have any issues. And with that being said, we're also able to delete them. So now we're going to head back to our client directory. So with that being said, the client actually created themselves, but we also are able to add a client. I'm just going to go new region, North Africa, just show us that, hey, here's our new client. So now we have how many clients? Previously, I think we started with 6. Now our dashboard tells us that, hey, we actually now have 7 clients. Right? Instead of having to count all these clients, because it can be tedious. So we have a dashboard to just literally reflect all the statistics, right? So we're able to see that now. We're able to add a client, right? So now our contracts, right? This is our contract view. Before any truck is actually or shipment is actually moved, right? There must be a contract, sir. And in this being said, the administrators were able to draft and link contracts to specific clients, right? And these specific clients, the contracts actually need to be defined in the terms, essentially like, what the service level is, how long the contract is valid for, and its current status, right? So with this being a self-sustaining system, in terms of it being a smart system, right? It actively actually monitors these dates and alerts the admin on the dashboard if a contract is actually what? Expiring soon. So they can renew it without disrupting their actual services, right? So now with that being said, let's go ahead and create a new contract. So um create what? Client? No, we're not gonna create a client. We're gonna create a contract for our client, Heavenly Flights. This is the company name. In terms of the dates, we're just gonna pick today, and the end date will be what for tomorrow. We're looking at a tight schedule for this contract. This client. So our status, we're gonna set it to active, and service level would go to premium. So reason being, we're setting the status to active currently for this demo. And I'll show you even with the other status levels, sir, is that with the active contracts, only active contracts actually can be allowed to have a service request, right? So, in fact, let me start with that way. So we're gonna just pick our PDF Kingdom Gateway for as our contact for PDF. So we're gonna put this client that is on hold currently because we're still in negotiations, but they have once submit the contract. So we're gonna submit this contract, right? So we can see that for Heavenly Flights, what the contract is on hold, their clearance is what premium, and they have from today until tomorrow, essentially, right? So now, in terms of service requests, right? So once an active contract is established, only an active contract, the actual day-to-day logistics will work similarly to basically it being generated as a service request. Service request is like a specific job, right? So essentially, we can be moving 10,000 cars from KZN to Limpopo. That would be now the service request. So essentially, how this system operates is that a service request must be tied to a valid contract, right? And this valid contract ensures that every operation is financially and contractually backed. The requests track the live execution status and like such as it being pending, completed, aborted, etc. And financial estimates in dual currencies. So essentially from like United States dollars to South African rands, right? And with that being said, let me actually iterate with this. So now we're going to say, okay, let's create a new request. So remember, we actually wanted Heavenly Flights or Emirates. I can't remember that. Yes, it was Heavenly Flights. So they currently are not able to actually have a service request because what? Their status is actually not on active. It is currently on what? On hold. So what we're going to do as the admin, we've contacted them. We actually not they actually want to go ahead with the contract. We're going to say activate the contract. We're going to now give them a new contract PDF. And this is like, the agreements, So before we go over to submit, we just check everything. Yes, it's still for today, it's still tomorrow. If we're going to do now, save these changes. So now you can see that for Heavenly Floods, what happens? The contract is actually what? Active. And that's our service request, right? So now, when you create a service request, we're going to select a contract. Only active contracts are available to have a service request. Happens that we're going to click what Heavenly Flights because now what the contract is actually active. So we're going to say transport house from Limpopo to KZN for Good Friday. So now we're seeing that we're able to insert our description. Now, with that being said, the cost of the service request and operations will cost them roughly, let's just say $700. And you can see that it was what? Auto calculates the actual currency conversion. So, and it tells you the actual rates as well, right? So now what happens is that we're able to what? Select our status. We'll just go to processing. And once you submit this request, we will able to see that what now updated to what our service request dashboard. What we're able to do is view the details, and the status is currently processing. Parents contract this belongs to what Heavenly Flights, and here's the description of the actual service request, the total cost, right? So now if we manage status, we're actually able to still see that, hey, because this was processing before, now we're able to either say completed, cancelled, but for the sake, we're just going to say completed, right? And actually, let's say processing. Let's keep it on processing, actually. So we're going to say processing. You know what? Apply updates. We're able to obviously delete, view details again. So in terms of that, we're just going to go back, right? So I just wanted to log out of admin and show what our actual client would be seeing, right? So this was a client that actually registered for service request. And with that being said, let's just input the password. So now they've actually logged in. So now from the client endpoint, which is the user interface dashboard, so our clients are able to see that, hey, they're only able to essentially view, because they can't now edit, delete, basically have admin functionality. No. We can see that, okay, JC actually has one contract and they have one service request. And remember, when we actually set the service request and contracts, it was for today until tomorrow. So now we're able to see when this contract actually expires, right? And with that being said, we're actually seeing that, hey, following contract expires this, and here's the date, right? And cool. That being said, we're able to go to the contracts, view the current contracts, to even verify the dates. There it is, to view the details. When we view registered contracts, we're able to now download the actual agreement. You can go back, and upon going back, we're able to now see the service request as well. And with this being said, we're actually able to, from our client side, actually request the service, right? So instead of selecting a contract, is we actually have to select a contract, because this is what we are. So we're able to even create a request. So we're just gonna create the same contract right now. I'm just gonna do this for description, and let's just say $20 latest process, and then able to submit a request. So now this has been sent over to our administration as well. Bring back to actually show that it's actually being iterated. This side is that now so now we're seeing that, hey, we have now 4 contracts total request, but our total client still remains the same because it's not a new client essentially. And with that being said, we're able to see, hey, here's this new contract from what Heavenly Flights, right? And with that being said, here's the actual service request, right? So we're seeing that Heavenly Flights actually has 2. The one that we created for them, and the one that they actually sent in from their end user side, right? And with that being said, we're able to now edit a few things, so we can even just say, sending out to so this will just make it let's quickly just do this. We're able to view the details, go back, we're able to edit, apply these updates, we're able to even delete it, right? So literally like that, it is gone. And yes, sir. This is now actual TechMove Global Logistics Management Services, and essentially the iteration of it on the daily would be an admin registers a client, it registers a client, and the admin drafts a contract, right? So After drafting a contract for a client, as logistics needs arise, service requests also are generated against the active contract. Both admins and clients monitor the progress on their respective dashboards. So